If you've ever built a brand new computer from scratch and you hit the power button, it doesn't turn on, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back for another week. Going to be a truncated week with the Juneteenth holiday coming this Wednesday. Let's see what that means for markets. We do have some news here to cover this morning. I hope all of you folks are ready to go. Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, everybody. Hello and welcome. Happy Monday. I hope all of you had a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Father's Day. Again, happy belated Father's Day to all of the great fathers out there. You folks deserve it. We are back. The market does not wait. The U.S. Open is over. Oh my God, what is going to happen to Rory McIlroy, that poor guy? But most importantly, what are we going to trade here today to discuss these things? Let me go ahead and bring on the crew. First on is 13. 13, how are you doing? And perhaps more importantly, how's the new rig?
It's holding up. You know, that's one of the things that you get with these new builds is that kind of like a child, they take some nurturing, some growing, and you know, you could be baking cookies together and they knock over the flour, and guess what? New project. So it's that kind of thing that I'm dealing with right now. This somebody just knocked over the flour, and I'm trying to clean it up.
Okay, so we just got a computer comparison to kids and baking. Did not have that on my Monday morning bingo card, but here we are. Not to be outdone, we're going to bring on News by Nick. Nick, are you going to be able to beat 13's story in comparison there? That's tough. That's a steep hill, I think.
Well, we'll see what the show brings, but I know that I'm not knocking anything over as of yet, or my handle off my coffee cup didn't come undone yet. So.
Hey, all right. Well, good stuff there. Folks, we did have a lot of news over the weekend. I think let's just dive in and break it down. Let me go ahead and share my chart here. We're going to start with the SPY. I think the way we're going to do this, folks, is we're going to start with the SPY, and then we're going to roll through the couple of movers that we have off the movers tool here in Benzinga Pro. And then I'm going to kick it back to Nick, because Nick, I think there was probably more news flow over this weekend than there are meaningful gappers off the movers tool today. We'll see if that changes. And of course, we're going to finish out the prep segment by taking tickers from the chat. So if we miss anything here that you're interested in, go ahead and throw it out. We'll take a look at it. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here in the morning. We go ahead and welcome everybody back. Charles, it's great to see you. Carmen, Jay's Life, Mike, John, Chris, J. Michael, Bernhard, Basim, Lennon, Randy, Jane, Marcelo. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us here today. All right. So taking a look here at the SPY, we did last week. One of the things that we were talking about is this little sideways area right in here, these 5 days right in here. We did break out of that, and now we're kind of trading in this new sideways range here. So we're still inside here. Market looks a little bit flat. One of the things that we've seen over the past several sessions really is the Qs and the SPY seem to be diverging from the Dow. We're going to ask Matt Maley about that coming up here in a little bit. Mondays with Matt is what I'm going to call that segment. But we got a lot going on here. SPY, as far as where we're at here today, I kind of want to see what happens with this range, right? Like, I'm sure you folks can all see it here. Let me see if I can draw this rectangle right around it. This is really the area that I'm going to be watching until we break out of this, right? Does the SPY break out of this? Does it break down from this? What are going to be the next levels then? We're still kind of trading sideways here at 13. I'd like to know, what do you think here on the SPY? What are you watching here for this week, or at minimum this morning?
Well, one of the things that we have going on this week that you're all aware of, we have Juneteenth on Wednesday, and typically what can happen is the lead up into a federal holiday, we tend to see market weakness, some selling, and then we see strength afterwards, after the holiday's over. So I'm going to be anticipating a little bit of weakness, or maybe a lot of weakness, going into that holiday on Wednesday. We also have a couple of other catalysts coming up. Blackout period for the stock buybacks is upcoming. It starts this week. So that could also lead to more market weakness. I'm looking for some more downside at this point. One of the things of note is on Friday, we had the highest all-time high close, not just the highs, but the close. That was the highest the SPYs closed because those previous two candles were a little bit lower. So I'm looking to see if we can get above that or not. If we don't, then I think that it's going to be a good sign of market weakness. I want to see the gap fill to the downside that we have there, and then we'll see what happens after the holiday. But for the next 2 days, I think we're going to see a little bit of weakness.
Okay, sounds like you're not alone there. Jay's Life, that's great analysis. I really feel like people are going to sell off up until the Wednesday holiday, and then they're going to start buying after the holiday is over. I know what you mean there. I speak trader to Jay's Life. No worries. And we've seen that before. We may see that again. The one thing to keep in mind here, we are in the summer. Volumes have been low. Even on some of the big days with important Fed announcements, the volume has remained low. So just kind of keep that in mind here. This is kind of the area that we're taking a look at. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the movers real quick. Then, Nick, we'll come back here and we'll take a look at some of that news flow that you've been watching over the weekend. Let me flip over to the movers tool. The first one that I'm going to start with here is actually Longeveron. This is probably our one of our better small cap junkier stocks that we traded last week. This actually gave a great opportunity on Friday. It actually gave a second opportunity. I only played it for that first one, and it was a little bit delayed, but that's okay. We actually had an opportunity the day before on Longeveron, and it did a fairly decent job holding its gains here. Now, this morning, Longeveron shares trading lower after the company announced agreements for the exercise of warrants for $4.4 million in gross proceeds. That is driving Longeveron lower. Now, one of the things that you're going to notice here, actually, I'll back out to a 5-minute chart. Look at where this took us down to, right? This took us down to the after hours low that held on Thursday. Now, the very next day, we actually traded up. We came back in towards that low, couldn't quite test it, and now we're testing it here. So if you had Longeveron on your watch list for this morning, great. But let's wait and make sure that this sets up here for a long side trade. We are at a support level, so I understand, but I kind of want to wait and see if this gives us another trade. Did you have anything on Longeveron 13? I can't remember.
No, this isn't. There's not much going on in the movers list today, so I only have a couple, but this wasn't one of them.
Okay, perfect. All right, first one here on the list is going to be ticker ALLG. This is Allego. We've traded this one before. The only reason I'm bringing it up here is because this looks like a buyout for 170 in cash, current price 167. So I don't really think there's much here. Allego shares trading higher after the company and its majority shareholder, Meridium, announced a transaction framework agreement under which Meridium will launch a tender offer for all issued and outstanding Allego shares not owned by Meridium, with the option to tender shares at 170 per share. You can see here what happened on ALG is just kind of holding here. That's what's going on. That's why this is gapping. That's why this is at the top of the movers list. I don't think we're going to have a trade in it. However, now the next one here, we may have a trade in this. So SCNI is going to be the ticker here. That is Sierra Charlie November India. This is Sinai Immunotherapeutics. Really nice volume in the pre-market here. We actually popped as high as 773. We've come back in. We're sitting right at that VWAP. So we'll see if this ends up giving us a trade here. If we flip over to the news here, I don't see anything fresh here from today. 13, do you have anything on this one?
There is no news that I could see as well, but I did see that they had regained compliance last week. So that's likely why it's moving. It's just late to the party. Also, a couple of things that we also talk about is the size of the float and whether or not they've done any reverse splits. They did a reverse split, 1 for 10 on May 21st. That has led it to have a float of 151.4 thousand shares. So this is going to be quite a volatile one, given given enough volume, which it shouldn't have a problem getting. 151,000 shares. This thing should move around quite a bit. So be very careful when we trade this. As soon as it starts going up, make sure you pay yourself on the way up. Otherwise, there could be a big knife coming in this one at some point.
Yeah, I think that's really prudent information here, especially with these low floaters. You know, one of the other things about this, it almost doesn't even matter what size position you get. If you get this to move in the direction that you're hoping for, there's nothing wrong with paying yourself on the way up. And to 13's point, if it does knife and set up again, we'll giddy up. You'll already have gains booked, and you'll be ready to take advantage of that. So we'll keep an eye here on SCNI. I've never traded this before. I would like to see how this trades. And as 13 just mentioned, an incredibly low float here. So kind of want to get a feel for that. Okay. Next on this list here is going to be TRNR. The name of the company is Interactive Strength. This did pop as high as 560 and change, came back in towards $4, and now it's sitting right under its VWAP here, holding at about 454, VWAP at 469. TRNR. Now, if we click over to the news tab here in Pro, I don't see anything on this one either, so maybe just kind of a momentum trade. 13, what do you think here, TRNR?
Well, tell me if you've heard this before, but this is a mover that has no news. It just had a reverse split on the 14th of June, 1 for 40. And now the float is very low at 537.4 thousand shares. So just like the last one we talked about, this could be a very similar price action. Could be very, just as volatile. Just be careful with this one as well. There's no news, low float, recent reverse split. Checking those boxes.
Okay, we're just checking all of the boxes, and that's the thing. When we develop patterns, even if we have some of these stocks that move on no news, there might be some other things that we can kind of uncover that show why it's moving, and perhaps these are some of them. Really good stuff there, 13. Next on the list here is going to be MaxN, Maxion Solar Technologies. Now, really kind of a rough pre-market trading action here today. We've talked about this stock a lot before. I feel like we've seen this on the relative volume scanner and all of that. This did pop over 190, about 195, came back in, sitting right here under 150, VWAP a little bit extended on Maxon. We did have a piece of news here today, Maxon to showcase its later solar energy innovations and new panel technologies at Intersolar Europe 2024. Said on June 14th, entered into a forward purchase agreement with, I'm gonna mess this one up, Zhonghuan Singapore Investment and Development relating to sale by company and purchase by investor of ordinary shares with the purchase price of $100 million. What do you have here on MaxN, 13?
Didn't do any coverage on this one, but I do see that they have quite a large short interest here. Now, they didn't do a reverse split, so it can't be that. This is just heavily shorted, so this could be squeezing on this news catalyst. They have a float of 28.6 million shares, so not as small as the other ones, but still small enough that it should see some decent price action. But that's what I'm getting from this, is that this is squeezing.
Yeah, 53% of its float shorted there. Really good stuff. Okay, next here is going to be SMFL. Brad, here, anyone looking at SMFL has run in the past and it looks highly shorted. Let's take a look at that. Indeed, this has run in the past. I think we've actually traded this live on this show. I actually don't have a float reading here, I don't have a short float reading here, but I'm pretty sure that this stock has been highly shorted in the past. Let me see if I can pull up the history. Do have the history here real quick. SMFL. I know I'm doing this off screen here. Sorry about that. Okay, so real quick here. The last print that we had, again, this was as of the end of May, so take it with a grain of salt. We had 31.5% of its float shorted, and the volume was much, much lower there. So this number might be a little bit lower. Still some significant short interest in there, despite us not getting it with the last reading. But SMFL, that's kind of what's going on here. Keep this one on your radar. Maybe if we get a move through VWAP here, I don't really have anything else on this. It does look like it's kind of coming up off the bottom. To Brad's point, we've seen this run in the past. You can see this is what it did at the end of May. So we'll see if it does that again. Does look like it's curling here, SMFL. Did you have anything on this one, 13?
So I see that the float here is 110,000 shares, and it looks like it's heavily shorted because they did a reverse split back on April 22nd. That was a 1 for 7. And this company is notorious for doing reverse splits. They did 3 last year, and they do offerings thereafter. So reverse splits offering, reverse splits offering. This isn't something you hold. This is just a day trade.
Right.
I don't know about the short interest being 369%. I think that's just the calculation based off of the reverse split and having lower volume for the days to cover.
Okay. So there you go on SMFL. We'll see. These are all on the list here for today. Okay, let me go back to the chart tool here, Nick. Let's talk about some of the news that came out over the weekend. Why don't you start us off, my man?
Yeah, so if you could just take a look at the SPY, SPY, we've got news from Goldman Sachs and Evercore that they're both upgrading their year-end targets. Goldman Sachs on Friday goes to 5,600 from year-end from 5,200. That's about 3% from the current level. They say it's driven by milder than average negative earnings revisions and a higher fair value PE multiple. They go from 19.5 to 20.4. And then in that note, they also discuss 4 alternative value scenarios. They say catch up 5,900, catch down 4,700, further mega cap, further mega cap, they go to 6,300. And then for the recession risk, they go to 4,800. So just laying out some alternative scenarios. In that mega cap, exceptionalism is very interesting, because if that means that mega cap continues to move up and we get a little bit of a broadener, we're going to 6,300. So that was interesting. But then we go to Evercore, and this note dropped on Sunday. They actually go to a street high for year end to 6,000, and they were at 47.50. 2024 EPS, they say, goes to 238, and 2025 EPS goes to 251, up from 243. That's implying about 8% and a 5% EPS growth, respectively. They say S&P 500, 6,000 by year end on 238 EPS implies a 25 times trailing PE multiple, extended on a historical basis, but short of the 28 times year 2K peak. They also say 7,000 is possible by end of 2025. So what does this all make of it? I mean, the reaction coming in from the street is basically saying there's still some bulls. There's still bulls out there. We know Dan Ives is a bull with tech. There is still some bears that are not yet capitulated, and that is JP Morgan. They still think the S&P is going to end the year at 4,200. So we still haven't heard anything from JP Morgan, but Evercore going to 6,000. Possibly 7,000 by year end of 2025 really got attention on the street Sunday morning.
Yeah. I mean, so some of these re-ratings make sense in the sense that, bears have pretty much been offside. I mean, you've heard me be in a bearish camp for a long time here. Really, the market doesn't really care, right? It continues to grind higher. 13 was just telling us about a new all-time high close that we got recently. So part of you wonders, or part of me, I guess, wonders if JP Morgan is going to kind of re-rate their target. A lot can happen. I'll say this, a lot can happen between now and year end, and we have an extremely volatile event in the form of the election that's coming before the year ends. So we'll see. I know there's also talk about rate cuts. There was news from Kashkari on rate cuts. Do you just want to go right into that? I guess 13, did you have any thoughts on the S&P end of year targets?
I'd say that they all seem likely if we do get the corrections that we need to get there. I think that every healthy market, we've shown that every healthy market has at least one correction every 13 or so months. And we haven't had a correction in quite some time. That recent pullback that we had, not enough. I think we need more. I think we need to see a little bit more selling, a little more downside, so that we can actually achieve those higher numbers that they're targeting.
And, part of me wonders if we're going to have enough time to do that, right? I mean, if we do start to correct here, you're pretty much going to be looking at a V bottom if you're going to, if all of these things are going to work out, so to speak, right? So if we do want to pull back for more highs in a healthy market, then this is going to need to happen pretty quick. I mean, it's midway through June here. We're almost halfway through the year, aren't we? This is the 6 month. Yeah, aren't we? We're more than halfway through the year, aren't we?
Halfway through the year will be next month, after next month, and the 30th is halfway. Yeah.
Okay, 30th is halfway. So there you go. So we're almost there. This is going to have to happen quick if it does in fact happen like that. So okay, Nick, what else you got? I didn't mean to kind of railroad you there.
No, I was going to say CBS is Face the Nation. Federal Reserve President of Minneapolis, Neil Kashkari, said that reasonable prediction that the U.S. Central Bank will cut interest rates once this year, waiting until December to do it. Quote, we need to see more evidence to convince us that inflation is well on our way back down to 2%. That's according to an interview with CBS's Face the Nation.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Disney, we'll just roll right into it. If you can throw up a chart at Disney. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2 debuted with an estimated $155 million domestically, the second highest theatrical opening of an animated film. That's according to Variety. It is the first film since Warner Brothers' Barbie to top $100 million during its debut. The film is expected to haul in about $295 million globally for the weekend. So Disney's higher on that news. It seems that the overall theater, the overall trying to get back to the theaters and these debuts of these movies, it seems that they're trying to bring back viewers, but the viewers don't actually want to go out and see the movies. They just want to sit at home. So seeing more people head out this weekend, maybe it was a Father's Day gift, 155 million is actually pretty decent for this time of year, given all the vacations and stuff.
Okay. Really good stuff there on Disney. As far as this goes, I'm still kind of in the same camp here for Disney as far as a trade goes. Disney is the type of stock that wouldn't be a day trade. But I really want to see this kind of test this 500-day moving average. You're looking at a daily chart right now. We've got the 500 and the 200 really kind of converging right at this $98 level. I know we're trading up here today. I want to see this actually get tested. I'd like to see this come in here, test, maybe close a few times above it. Even if we dip below it, maybe a reclaim and some closes above it. I would be personally, I have no position here, but personally, I'd be a little bit skeptical of Disney taking off from here. Let's see what happens around that 98 level.
It did fill the gap on Friday. That gap that was created back in February. It doesn't look like you kind of have a wick there, I think. Oh no, that's just a trend. That's a VWAP line, I think.
Yeah, here, this little squiggly blue line. I can. Here you go.
Yeah, so they just the price ended up filling the gap on Friday, so it touched that point there. You could see it reverse a bit, but if it does get back above its 20-day SMA, I think it'd be hard pressed to get back above its 50. There's still a lot of headwinds with this company, and of course, the only thing that they're going to have headlines about are what's actually working well. Never mind how bad their streaming service is doing right now.
Okay, Nick, you got anything else for us?
I was going to say ADSK is the big news. Activist Starboard Value has about 500 million stake in software maker Autodesk and is weighing legal action over the company's delayed disclosure of an internal investigation into accounting malfeasance. That's according to CNBC. The Wall Street Journal was actually first to report on this. I got to give it up to Lauren Thomas from the Journal. She's always getting these scoops, and it seems like these activist M&A deals, anytime we have these activists trying to get into these companies, she's always the first. And so in this report, they say that Autodesk moved its CFO to a new role after an internal probe found that executives reversed a shift in billing structure to inflate the company's free cash flow and operating margin numbers, two metrics which are used to determine executive pay and to measure the success of the company. Starboard is concerned that Autodesk's delayed disclosing an internal probe until shortly after the nominating deadline for the company's board, which would potentially limit a shareholder's ability to nominate its own candidates in a contested fight. That's according to CNBC. So we'll see how Autodesk does. It is up on this news. We'll see if Starboard actually gets what they want, because we've seen over the years, even this year, all these activists that are trying to push for changes, it seemed they are falling short of expectations. And then the stock sells off once a shareholder meeting doesn't go so well or go the right way. So we'll have to see if Starboard gets into Autodesk, see if we can get some shakeup and see how this stock does. It will be interesting to, whenever they report earnings, to hear if they will comment on this, on the investigation and on Starboard's value.
Okay, and real quick here, you can see that this little pop this morning, this did take us up towards the 100-day. I'm curious to know if we close above this 200-day. This does also fill the gap. So the close today on ADSK going to be interesting. We just opened, Kevin, I was not ignoring you. I just tried to save this to the end here. So before we flip over there, I did want to mention this. Kevin in our chat here saying we should be looking at gold and silver. Here's one of the things. If this market does start to turn around, Kevin's exactly right. These things, if you look here at ticker SLV, this is right at the 50 days. So maybe a potential bounce spot, Kevin. Would love to hear throughout the course of the week, especially how you're trading gold and silver. Okay, let me flip over to Trade the Pool so we can actually execute some trades here. That's also the perfect time to remind you, Trade the Pool is the sponsor of this stream. So if you need help getting above the 25K day trading threshold or simply need some more dry powder, check out Trade the Pool. They're awesome guys over there. Let's get it rolling. LGVN off those pre-market lows right to the VWAP. We'll see if this sets up. bring up some of my other windows. They're really good stuff, by the way, folks, getting through that. I know we had kind of a lot of news on little gappers here today. Curious to know what you folks are seeing out there.
Well, I just looking at the SPY right out the gate. It's not doing a whole lot.
No, it isn't. Lynn here saying there should be some activist activity in PTLO. Boy, Lynn, I will admit, I will say you guys are sticking to it there. Something shady going on with top management. Sure seems like that. I don't know if they're going to get investment. We'll see where we go. LGVN, by the way, as we're going here, moving through the VWAP, no position for me, but this one is moving here. Tuna, how do you feel about LGVN today? I gotta know.
To the point about gold and silver, as long as we're borrowing $1 trillion every 100 days to service our national debt, I think it's safe to say that inflation is going to continue to rise.
Kevin here saying silver and gold broke out big longer term resistance, probably in anticipation of rate cuts. We'll see if we end up getting that, Kevin. I don't trade gold and silver much. It's definitely a weak point in my trading game, to be perfectly honest with you. So definitely want to hear how you're doing that. One more thing just to kind of cover, Palantir did have an upgrade here this morning. Let's see. Argus initiated it with a buy and a $29 price target. Palantir moving off the open here.
We are getting some NVIDIA news. This is coming from Reuters. The Supreme Court is saying that they agreed to hear a bid by NVIDIA to scuttle securities fraud lawsuit brought by shareholders. So watch NVIDIA. They are moving higher on this news, up near 1%.
Okay. Sully, I will, it's possible that they were busy over the weekend. I know we kind of did that impromptu late in the week. Let's not hold that against them just yet. I did send your request over to them. I'll try and expedite that for you. Okay. All right. What else are you folks seeing here in terms of moving? NVIDIA actually moving, well, it's higher here off the gap. NVIDIA, this stock seems like it goes up every day. Pulling back here, we'll see where that goes. I did want to check on SMCI. Big shouts to Jay from last week. Hit a monster trade here. Jay, if you're out there, Jay Rice, that is, Spinner, if you're out there, let me know. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the U.S. Open as well. Peggy, also PEGY. This is one of those smaller stocks that started to rip as we were going through the breakdown here. This actually sitting right at VWAP, PEGY. And UKK appearing on the scanner here.
Just watching the two that we had this morning. Looks like SCNI is trying to push into the pre-market highs, but getting some resistance here. The high of in the pre-market was I got it at 771. I think you said 73 earlier. So I think that's where the target is right now. Is in the 770 area.
Was this for SMCI?
SCNI.
SCNI. Sorry, I got potatoes in my ears. 13. All right. This actually a fairly decent setup. Are you? And I'm sorry. Did you say you were in this?
No, I was watching this one and the other one. And right now it looks like it might give a good VWAP support trade.
TRNR Smoke Tuna calling it here. Looks like this is about to cross the VWAP. Let's see if we can do that here. By the way, Sully, I have a screen cap of an email. He responded to you. So check your email again. It looks like he did respond. Here we go. $5 test coming here. TRNR Smoke Tuna. Great call on this one, at least so far. Let's see if it can get above that VWAP there. It goes through 5. Big pop there. Smoke Tuna.
560. 560, that one should go to at least TRNR. Okay,
great stuff there. A little too slow on that, but I was, excuse me. Tuna, you were right on. Carmen giving us some boots on the ground. Carmen, you know I love this data. If you are willing to share it, I will share it here with the group. Carmen saying, hey, Ryan, not sure why, but sales in my tiny retail shop have tanked as of the beginning of the month. If it's heat, we're in for a bad summer. Carmen, forgive me. Please is there any type of seasonality that could be affecting that? Meaning, if people are taking vacations, would that mean less? Should that mean more? I can't remember the dynamic there, but definitely trying to use that as a data point. Appreciate you sharing that with us. TRNR. Robert mentioned it. Sorry. TRNR right to that spot 13 called.
A little bit
God,
higher.
this was a great call. You guys are all over this. all over this. TRNR at this point on that pop, I would say at least peel some of that. Smoke Tuna calling Cav L here. This going through the VWAP. This is a former girlfriend, isn't it?
Oh, it's Henry Cavill, baby.
Henry Cavill. Okay, and then one more thing. Was there something else in here? Dell in reversal mode. CNSP. I'm trying to go through all of these so we can at least set a baseline here. CNSP may be curling. No seasonality. Tourists are good buyers. Okay, Carmen. So it almost seems like lower sales in the retail shop might also speak to less travel, perhaps that tightening consumer that we've been talking about. And I would imagine that the summer vacation is probably one that they were kind of planning for. Interesting to note. Keep us posted on that. Palantir, by the way, taking another leg up here off that initial pop. TRNR, this is halted, isn't it? Yes, halted. Yeah. 597 TR. What a trade, guys. What a trade off the open there. Great job again. SNCI, that was another one that we were, or wait a sec, SCNI. I think I screwed that up. Sorry. SCNI. This popped above the VWAP, a pull. Let's see if we can reclaim that here. That's what we'd be looking for. Sully, it was in my spam folder. Okay, there you go. Appreciate you, Gil. Appreciate you, Sully, for working that out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
The scanners here.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking around too. Tesla, nice little move off the open here. Tesla, ticker TSLA, right through that 180 off that 177 bottom. Wiss, is it your birthday? Love some birthday gains early. Is it your birthday, Wiss? Oh my God, let's go. We need Chewbacca wishing you a happy birthday out here, Wiss. Happy birthday, dude. Get those gains early. Wiss, did you play golf over the weekend? What did you think of the U.S. Open?
I didn't know on our birthdays we get Wookiees.
I mean, look, I don't have a happy birthday sound queued up, so Chewbacca yelling his approval was the next best thing on the soundboard.
You know what? That's probably better because I don't like the birthday song anyway.
And yeah, and I got news for you, folks. I love you all, but I ain't singing for not a single one of you.
Ryan, on the wires right now, AMC is moving higher, up about 1.3%. They say that the AMC theaters recorded its most attended and highest grossing weekend of 2024 domestically and globally. They say this past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were AMC's busiest Friday, Saturday, and Sunday so far in 2024. That's based on attendance and admissions revenue. More than 1 million people watched a movie at an AMC location in the United States each day. And again, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They say that since the summer of 2023, due to opening weekend strength of Inside Out 2 and the strong holdover of Bad Boys Ride or Die, attendance at AMC's international theaters were similarly impressive, up double-digit percentage compared to the same weekend last year. So watch AMC.
AMC up 9 cents on that news, by the way. Probably time to do an offering. I kid. I'm sorry.
SCNI is coming back up to the intraday highs. It's really pushing now.
Let's see if we get above this. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna high risk here. High risk. I'm gonna take 100 shares right here, and I'm gonna look to add.
Yeah, I think you're gonna want to see this pull back a bit.
That's what I'm thinking too. But we just saw a stock blast off here, so I'll take a very, very small position and get ready to load if we pull back here. Then we just went through. Ooh. See, that's why, right? That's why I don't really have much of anything here. Let's see what happens at 7. Let's see what happens at 7 here. I'm showing a little bit of size there at 7.
Mm-hmm.
See if we get that there. There we go.
I expect VWAP to be support, but before that, I'm looking at 670 as a support level.
So I'm looking at this right here, trying to test 7. We'll see if we end up getting this pullback. As Anne-Marie said last week, when the stock moves in your direction, you always wish you had more. And when it moves against you, you always wish you had less. So we're just going to delete that. 13, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run you over there.
You're okay.
Okay, here's the pullback. Let's see if we get that. I got 646 as the VWAP there. What spot were you looking at 13?
670 was the one before VWAP. And we're
got you. Okay.
Just remember, these are the two ones we were looking at that are moving like this, low float. So, just have a stop ready or something, so just in case it decides to knife on you.
Yeah, I mean, with 100 shares at this point, if this knifes and I'm out 20, 30 bucks, no big deal. The hope here is that we actually hold for an area where I can add, right? I took that initial position because it looked like this was getting ready to go. And if it did go and went ham, I wanted to be in it. But the goal here is actually to increase the size of this position a little bit. Dollar cost average just a tad. We want to do that closer to a support level. So we'll hang out here. No big deal.
All right, it's almost down to VWAP. Should see it bounce there.
TRNR open.
Wow. Yeah, TRNR is a good one. I don't even have levels for this one yet. Sorry, I don't have levels. Still a new computer, and
you don't have to apologize at all. Wiss, I'm getting a private message here that you might want to open up your Trade the Pool hub. Just saying. We'll leave it at that. Here's the initial spot. This 670, now that I've been watching this stock here, 13, this 670 area has been refilled 3 times since I've taken my position 2 cents higher. So it looks like there's definitely a seller in there. I wonder how much he has. Maybe this does go higher. I did miss that ad, unfortunately, on that level that you outlined there. Shame on me. Let me take a look here at TRNR while we wait this out. I know you guys caught, oh my God, open and higher. This actually might be going for its next halt.
It could.
Smoke tuna, dude. You hooked. This is why we need you here early, man. You hooked this one. Amazing call on this blow right through the VWAP. Let's see on. Okay. So here we go. So here's the pullback. So this has got to hold. Otherwise, we're going to cut this 100 shares here. Let's see. See if we reclaim VWAP here a little bit.
Yeah, and if this FCNI doesn't hold up, it'll go through the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, and there's the 200 down at 458.
Yeah, this actually is kind of feeling heavy here off that reversal. This would be a decent dollar cost average spot. I'm gonna get a limit order out there at 620. Let's see if I get filled.
And if TRNR does halt again, you could get the attention back on SCNI.
Okay, so we just added 100 shares here, 620 on SCNI. This is going to be the spot, though. Gil, if you're still out there, can you remind me of how I can put the trade, the stop loss, and the target price on the chart? I lost that, and I can't remember how to give it back. Just let me know if you're still out there. Okay, now what we're going to need, though, is we're going to need for this to move here. Let's see if we can reclaim the VWAP. That's going to be the first spot here. There's that 646 level. That 670 and that $7 level were the upside levels here. Let's see if SCNI, nope, looks like it was just kind of failing there at the VWAP. If this doesn't work, we're going to cut it if it flushes here.
What's interesting about CAVL, CAVL, I had a 390 level drawn, and in the pre-market, it came right down to that, and it's held up. So I'm curious to see if we see some upside here in CAVL later on.
Okay, here we go on SCNI.
Oh, yes. You are going to get paid if this keeps going, dude.
Yeah, here's the move. Well, I mean, this is a fairly small position here. Remember, we do that in accordance with risk. We identified this as a risky stock. We knew that first purchase was going to be a little bit risky. Now, we added lower, so we really got to be careful with the stop here. But again, that $7 level is the one that we're kind of looking for here, right? Let's see if we can get up there. This does feel a little heavy. Not sure. So there's 660. So this is going to be 10 cents below that first level. Not a whole lot of stock there. One big buy can take that out, I feel like.
Yeah.
There it goes. So let's see if the stock has the juice to move higher here. We really want to see that 7 level. Here's that 670 spot. Let's see if they refill that again, 13. Yep. Look at that. 666. That size came in. So maybe they're just kind of walking it down here.
Maybe raise the stop.
Yeah, so can I do that with this? See, I really wish that was one of one of my favorite features of Trade the Pool, and my dumbness lost it here. I got to get that back on here. I'm just going to kind of babysit this one. I do want to check in on CAVL, so keep me posted on what's going on there. I'm not sure if this is going to move higher here. Yes, SCNI getting weak. Smoke tuna, that's kind of what I'm thinking here too. It looks like it's losing that juice to the upside, right? Let's see if all I have to do is talk about it sometimes.
The positive thing is that it keeps, when it does come down, it comes right back up and reclaims VWAP. And you have these bottom wicks that indicate that there's a little more strength and weakness.
There's that 670 level. Let's see here. I kind of want to just take this and get green on the screen here. You know what? Let's see if I can do this. Okay, we're going to put that limit order out there at 670. Let's see if they hit that again. That's one of those sizes. I just had it a number of times. Let's see if we get it again. Oh, nope. There's the pull. Let's see if we can pop back up here and fill that. And you know what? Actually, if they're going to load size up there, we're going to put our order 1 cent beneath it. Let me see if I can stop this from recentering here real quick. That moved it 1 cent above. We don't want that. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can pop back up there. If not, we're just going to kind of sit on this and close it. Let me get this to recenter here. Perfect. TRNR bounce off the VWAP and ripping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do want to go over to that TRNR. Let's see here. Yes, it is. We might be going higher here, boy. I picked the wrong stock here. TRNR. Easy for me to say. Great stuff here, folks. Smoke tuning, man. You really hit this. You really hit this one. Let me manage this trade here at SCNI. Hopefully, we don't lose the 630 level here.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think TRNR could go to 10. It certainly looks like it has that capability, and that is a level that I've identified here from previous price action. That is a not so much a support as it has been resistance. So $10 getting past that one, I think that'd be huge for TRNR.
650, the level here on SCNI, bids dropping out beneath it. That's got me worried. That was kind of, Smoke Tuna said that it felt weak to him, and I agreed with him. This is kind of the thing that I'm seeing. When it pops up, we're getting a little bit of a higher low on that candle there, and then it seems like the bid's dropping out a little bit. Palantir, by the way, reversing a little bit. Let's see if we can get out of this trade here. We did have some green on this. Probably should have taken it. We'll see, though.
Palantir went up and hit a resistance from a trend line. And then you can see that trend on the daily. You draw a trend line from the 7th of March through that peak on the 6th of May and keep on drawing it through. You'll see that that's where the price recently just bounced off of. So that's going to be an interesting trend line to get up and over. We'll have to watch for the price action and the volume to increase if it gets back up there again.
Okay.
Kind of just, sideways a little bit in these things right now.
Yeah. And actually, I'm not feeling good about SCNI. I think this is probably going to drop off here. Let's see if we can get another move up here. It's still right there at the VWAP, so I kind of want this to resolve here. Sorry, 13.
No, it's okay. I'm just kind of saying what folks are mentioning in chat. I'm just going to start looking at them, starting with EXK. That one has been green since it's opened. Not the biggest amount of movement, though. We're only up about 10, 15 cents, but up nonetheless. I think maybe in a little bit, this could get going once we start seeing some EMAs cross VWAP to the upside. SCNI, you're still hanging in there, man.
It's still hanging in there. Like I said, I'm still hanging in there, looking to get out here 669 if it can pop, but I don't feel great about this. I agree with Tuna's assessment. This looks like it's kind of weakening. Here we go. There's the fallout that I was hoping that didn't happen. Let's see if it holds 620 here. Break beneath this 620. We'll probably have to close this one. Hi, Ryan. 13. Craig at Pre-Market Prep did caution with high flyers, the risk of a reversal. That makes a lot of sense to me. I'd be really careful with some of the high flying names, especially in some of the bigger stocks. These little guys, these will do what they want. Out here, SCNI broke that 620, didn't work. That's okay. Sorry for babysitting that so much. Let me move over to what you're looking at.
That TRNR new highs.
That was the stock to play today. Wow.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that SCNI 620 break may have been a shakeout. We'll see if that's correct or not.
Yep. But you know what, though? That's why we started with just 100 shares and added much lower. And if you recall, I added at 620. So out flat on that and out basically just on 100 shares. Very, very small loss. They're still in the black overall. Jay's like saying, Ryan, did you ever get in on the waste management swing? No, but you know what, Jay? Let's actually take a look at that. I didn't really make any trades at the end of the week last week. Oops. Waste management is WM. Here is the chart. Let's take a look at waste management. So it did look like it kind of held that 200 level. See if it reclaims this 100 day. I've got that right about 205 here on waste management. Holding that one, the 50-day right above it there at 207. I'm not in this, though. I can't remember. What was your position in this, Jay? Did you have one? I'm sorry. I'm struggling to remember all the little finer details.
I liked I'm sorry, not S. I liked waste management for a while, and I ended up picking up an ETF that was pretty heavy into them. It was a utilities ETF. I do like waste management for the long run, because everybody's always going to have trash.
Got that right. TRNR here, really the only one of these small stocks that's got any type of strength, it seems.
Give me a second, and I'll give you what that ETF is.
LGVN, range play in LGVN. I would be careful with this one, right? The big easy moves, as we like to say, happened last week. You can see here we actually sold off on the news from this morning. We went back to the VWAP, but really kind of struggled with that. I'd be wary of this one. I would definitely try and add on support as opposed to some type of break to the upside, meaning I would not necessarily trust a break of the VWAP here unless we were able to retest and hold that. I still think that there's some inherent weakness in here. TRNR Lion saying it's going to crash hard here. It may, but right now it's got that upside momentum. Meds, big pop here. Wow, what happened on this one, folks? Wiz mentioning that this opened up higher. Smoke Tuna looking at that. Oh, okay. So you got in for a swing right beneath 200. Nice job, Jay. That looks like that's reclaiming. What's the stop plan there if that reverses on at that moving average, that 100-day? Let me check the news here on Meds and Pro.
By the way, that ETF that I had mentioned that I picked up that has waste management in it, it's IDU. That waste management weight is 6.67%. That is their third largest holding. Their next highest is Southern, and then Next Era Energy is their top.
Okay, I have no news here on Meds, by the way. So it looks like this is just kind of some type of momentum trading.
Watch SINT. That's popping to the highs as well.
This one, what's going on here, Nick? This is a former one, I believe we've seen.
Yep.
No news as of right now, but just been watching this. It got as high as 583, now coming off a little bit of that.
They regained listing compliance last week, and they have a very low float, 613,000 shares. Hey, we're checking those boxes that we like this morning.
1 for 200 reverse split May 28th.
Yeah, they did that. They also apparently received a contract earlier this month. Not a big contract at all, but that's the only other news I can see aside from the NASDAQ compliance getting regained. Hey, that reminds me. You heard about that Texas exchange that's coming online possibly in 25 or 26, right?
Yes, but I really don't believe it. I really don't think that the Texas Stock Exchange is going to take much away from the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. I think it's just an idea. I don't think it really goes anywhere given all the compliances, given all the money they have to raise. I know the Journal has been reporting about it, and it's been getting some attention, but I don't think the New York Stock Exchange is going anywhere.
Oh, I don't think it's going anywhere either. I was just wondering if maybe we see some companies kind of leaving the New York Stock Exchange, not all of them, but just some in favor of that new exchange in Texas because of the fees and the compliances. Sorry.
So that's kind of where I'm going with this one. First of all, I agree with both of you. I don't think it's the New York Stock Exchange is not going anywhere. But neither is NASDAQ for the record. But you bring up an interesting point, because we've talked about this in happy hour quite a bit. We haven't had this discussion on live trading as much as we have on happy hour. A lot of these small cap stocks just get absolutely crushed and beaten down. They get, they $7, $8, $10 stocks get blasted down to $1. Then they fall beneath $1. They are going to go through the whole delisting process unless they can regain compliance. There's a lot of talk that there might be more short activity that's driving them down. But if they look around at how many stocks are under $1, and I would imagine NASDAQ's going to have no stocks to trade if this continues here. And 13, to your point, I wonder if any of these temporarily move to an exchange that has less requirements so they can continue to trade. I don't know what the answer is to this, but interesting to think about nonetheless.
It's really worth pointing out how much Texas is kind of its own little country now. It's got a lot of tech. It's got oil and gas.
Yep.
It's got a lot of financial. Like Dallas is becoming a really big financial hub. Why? I don't know why. But you have aerospace and spacecraft manufacturing and launches. I mean, we really do have it all out in Texas. So it's interesting that we are getting potentially might be getting our own exchange. We have the highest concentration of Fortune 500 companies too. So it really kind of, creates a lot of question marks if this does get going like it wants to.
Kevin here saying we're seeing a record divergence between small caps and large caps.
Oh, yeah.
And agreed, Kevin, and this actually sums it up pretty well, is the Texas exchange being put online, if you will, that's probably the wrong term, in lieu of that or because of that. I wonder. Palantir here bouncing off that 2350 level. We'll see if this returns back to the VWAP Palantir. Jay's Life saying, Ryan, take a look at TKO for a swing trade. I'm in at 105.21. Let's take a look at that here real quick. TKO for a swing trade in at 105. Stop loss at 102. Take profit at 110. So here, let me actually chart this on a little bit bigger chart, Jay. And we'll see if we can take a look and see visually what you're looking for on that swing trade. Here you go. So it looks like you entered this above the 50. You're looking for kind of a regression back to the mean, maybe right back up to this 110 level where it found resistance here at maybe 111. Looks like you're just trying to play this for a bounce here. I'm curious in your strategy, why not wait for the test of the 50-day? Do you not think you're going to get it? Just wondering there. Okay.
Speaking of the 50-day SMA, that IDU that I was telling you about, that's utility stock. That's getting support from its 50-day as well.
Sure is. TKO is a knockout, technically. Thinking about it, I don't know where we would be without you, man. Honest to God, this is just. I needed that.
That's funny.
That divergence is incredibly unhealthy. Kevin, you share an opinion from one of our private equity veterans from Happy Hour, says that he has not seen consolidation is the wrong word. He has not seen such what word am I looking for here, 13? My goodness. Everyone is just piled into the same stocks, right? Just over-owned. Concentration. Thank God. Man, it is a Monday. It is a Monday. He hasn't seen concentration like this in his entire career. So I'm worried about some of this stuff as well. Let's get back to trade the pool here and see if we can't execute on some trades here. Jay, keep me posted on that swing trade. I love that you're throwing out swing ideas. For any of you that aren't day traders here, Jay, you have a lot of swing trade ideas, and I am here for it.
Rick mentioning LICY, Lycy.
That near the highs. This actually took out Friday's highs on Lycy on this last candle here. TRNR Looked like maybe that's kind of holding up there at the top. See if this.
CNI, that was a good exit because it's lower now.
Yeah, like we said, it definitely felt weak. I was in profit for a little bit there. Definitely understood what I was getting into, taking the first part of that trade at the highs there. All right. It is 10 o'clock, folks, and it is Monday. You know what that means. Mondays with the one and only Matt Maley. Let's go ahead and bring him on here. Matt, happy Monday. How are you doing, my man?
Doing well. Happy Father's Day to all those who had celebrated yesterday, and looking forward to see what the Celtics can do tonight after getting blown out last week. So hopefully they can close things out.
You're reading my mind, Matt. Do we close things? That's the call that I really wanted to bring you on this morning for. Just by the way, do they close it out tonight or not?
Yes.
Okay, good. I think so too. I think that they were just trying not to embarrass the Mavs. A little gentleman's sweep there. Boston will bring home another title. It's been really impressive. Matt, thanks for joining us again. A couple of things that we want to cover here. First of all, I echo your sentiment to all of the fathers out there. Hopefully you also had a great Father's Day over the course of the weekend. My first question here for you is one of the things that I've noticed recently is we're starting to see some pretty significant, at least in my mind, divergence in some of the indices here. I'm looking at the Qs and I'm looking at the SPY, and they really seem to be diverging from the Dow. Is there anything that you kind of make of this? Is there any way that you're kind of trying to capitalize on this?
Well, it's definitely a big concern. I mean, we're seeing the same. I mean, the Russell 2000. I mean, Russell 2000 is down on the week. I mean, in the chat room, we bought some IWM, which is of course the ETF for the Russell 2000. Mm-hmm. And we bought them. I think it was Wednesday, and then and we made 800%. Now I don't want to say we sold some up 200%. Good risk management. Sold some up 200%, some 500%, all the way up to 800%. But the point is that what's really going on is that this is so ridiculously narrow. I mean, the S&P equal weight index is down 4 weeks in a row. Okay, and the QQQ equal weight is down 3 out of the last 4 weeks, and the 1 week it wasn't down, it was up a point. So basically, we're going in different directions. That's not the sign of a healthy advance. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why these big cap tech names are doing so well. But if they turn down at all, the rest of the markets, the rest of these indices are going to get hit pretty good.
Yeah, indeed. And we were actually, right before you came on here, we were just having a discussion about how we've never really seen concentration in so few names. I know I don't have a multi-decade career going on here, but I do talk to a lot of my network that does, and it's one of the things that concerns them. I would imagine you're in the same boat.
Definitely. I mean, we do know that the narrow markets can continue for a long time. I mean, just like expensive markets can keep rallying for a long time. I mean, this time last year, we had a very, very narrow rally, not quite as narrow as this one. And it kept going really until through July. But we do have to remember, we got a 10% correction, full 10% correction shortly after that. From August to October, and which was actually 12% in the Nasdaq. So when it starts, I don't know, but this is not something that can continue forever. And the other thing too is that we're not seeing a broadening out of earnings either. I mean, people keep talking about it's going to be good earnings. I'm like, yeah, the earnings advances are very, very concentrated in very, very few names as well.
And so you're literally reading my mind right now. Nick this morning, when he was running through the news flow from over the weekend, let us know that Evercore and Goldman Sachs came up on their end of year S&P targets. We're talking about pullbacks, we're talking about corrections, we're talking about a ton of concentration. What do you make of the S&P end of year targets?
Well, I mean, the one that goes to 6,000, Evercore going to 6,000, can that happen? It certainly can. There's still a lot of liquidity in the marketplace, but the odds of that happening, I think, are quite low. I mean, that would have to right now, again, we've talked about this in the past. You have 0% earnings growth last year, 0, and the market went up 25%. For us to go to 6,000, that's up another 25% on 11% earnings growth. So we'll have 2 year market up 50% on 12% earnings growth. that just doesn't compute. It's happened in the past, but so it could. But I tell you, we don't want the fallout that's going to come after that. We have people. We have nothing. I say not nothing. I was going to say nothing but lower economic data. I shouldn't say that, but we're definitely seeing signs that the economy is going to slow in the second half. How are we going to get 12% or 11% earnings growth in the second half? That's what we're looking for. That's what the estimates are on Wall Street. They're looking for the third and fourth quarter to be 12% higher than the first and second quarter. And how are we going to get that if the economy is starting to slow? And number one, number two, we still need more than that, because we're going to get to 25 times earnings as the market gets to 6,000. It's just not the recipe that's really good. I guess my point is, it would be the kind of correction we saw in April was healthy and normal. I think the chances are we see another one of those before we get through the end of the year and before we get too close to the election. So I think it's coming sooner rather than later.
I was going to say one more thing complicating this entire thing is going to be that election. Kevin here from the chat. Come on, Matt. Stop applying logic. This market doesn't seem to have a whole lot. Matt's bringing it here for you. By the way, if you want to check out more of Matt, be sure to check out the Benzinga webinar universe. I went ahead and threw the link in the chat there. Matt, one more thing. 13 had a question here regarding the buyback blackout period. 13, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to get your thoughts on what kind of market activity we'll see as a result of this blackout period, which is supposed to run from about the end of or the middle of about this month, I believe, until I think July through July. So could you comment a little bit on that, where you think it's going to help take the market? I'd imagine down, but I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it doesn't help. I mean, it's a supply and demand thing, and a lot of companies have been buying back their stock, and so if they have less demand from companies, that doesn't help the market. It creates a few headwinds, but especially right now, people are sitting on their hands because we're between earnings seasons, so we're going to get very, very little on that end. So then we're going to rely on Fed speak, which is becoming so littered. I mean, there's so much of it. We kind of get tired of it. So it leaves more uncertainty in the marketplace. We have what's going on, the geopolitical issues. So I guess my answer is that does create more headwinds. I think it does leave the market more vulnerable. And the last thing I would mention, we also have, NVIDIA getting ridiculously overbought on a technical basis. QQQ and the NASDAQ, I'm sorry, the SPY and the QQQ also getting overbought, not as overbought as NVIDIA, but getting quite overbought. So again, even if NVIDIA is going to, infinity and beyond, it's already seen, in the last year, it's been one of the best stocks in history, and it still had two pullbacks of 20%. I'm not saying we'll necessarily see a 20% pullback, but we should see that kind of some sort of a pullback soon. Apple's very overbought after the big rallies it's had over the last 6 weeks. Microsoft overbought. So again, with these stocks that were so heavily weighted in all in the major indices, if they come down, those indices come down, and guess what? People don't rotate when the market's going down. If it's going down just slightly, it's one thing. If the tech stocks are going down hard, the S&P are going down hard, they go to cash, which is paying them, 5% right now. So again, we're kind of in a recipe here with that lack of demand that doesn't bode well for a further rally right here.
Pleasure. I appreciate it. I just noticed that looking around with how much buybacks are affecting stocks, it's apparent that those have been one of the largest components to the S&P 500 gains has been the buybacks. So I appreciate your comments on that. It's helpful.
Yeah, and like you say, there are times when it's important and not important. Well, when they are a big part of the demand side of the equation, like they are right now, it's more important.
Okay. Really good stuff there. And NVIDIA here, I mean, this is a $3 trillion market cap stock, seems to go up every day. I mean, come on. At some point, this has got to turn around. All right, Matt, get you out of here on this. Is there anything that you're looking here at for the week? I know we've got a slightly truncated week here with the federal holiday Juneteenth on Wednesday. Is there anything that you're looking to trade or position yourself for in this week?
One of the things I'm looking at right now is crude oil. And I'll just look over real quickly here. It's above $79 now. I mean, it's crude oil is up about almost 8% now since June 4th, where the XLE and the XOP, the energy stock ETFs, are down at about 2%. So we've got this divergence right now. And in other words, the equity traders don't believe what's going on in the oil market. And therefore, if it can break above $80, well, 79.70, I think it's the 200-day moving average. That would be bullish. But above 80, that was that resistance level we saw in late May. And if we can break above that, I think some of these energy stocks are going to go, oops, and have to play catch up. So I think people, again, I don't want to get too ahead of it, but if we can get above $80 in any kind of meaningful way, these people are going to cover some shorts in that energy area and add to longs. And so it could be surprise people to the upside. And we see a rally in the energy sector later this week.
Okay, real good stuff there. By the way, I'm looking at USO here. Of course, that tradable ETF, that's sitting right under its 50-day. Chart formation looks pretty good. Let's see if we can break above that and close that. Okay, Matt, really good stuff. Can't thank you enough for all of your input here today. Have a great week and go Celtics.
Go Celtics. Great. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, perfect. Take care, Matt. That is Matt Maley. Folks, if you want to see more of his lights out analysis, again, check out the Universe webinar. I went ahead and posted the link in the chat. Matt is as sharp as they come. We really appreciate him taking time out of his day to break the market down. So a lot of things to take a look at here. 13 really good stuff there on the buybacks. All right, let's go back to the trading.
NBY is getting mentioned by Smoke Tuna, as is KAVL.
Okay, let's take a look at him. Here is NBY. This one, volume spike here. This trading up to 275. This took out the highs of Friday. What was the other one there? Cavill. Henry, how could I forget Henry Cavill? How could I forget Superman? Cavill reclaiming the VWAP here. Remember, the first time that we did this, we were unable to really kind of move away. We've just reclaimed it now. Let's see what happens this time around.
TRNR is starting to curl over a bit, and it looks like it's getting a little bit weak. If you're still hoping that this turns around and gets up to 10, just watch and see if it can maintain VWAP, which is currently at about 730.
Okay, this kind of flagging here. I'm with you on this 13. To me, I'm interested to see what is the next move here. Is it a breakdown or a breakout? I'm not necessarily interested in trading the range here. Market Sniper mentioning EMKR. EMKR could go to 290 if it stays above the VWAP. That is a big move from here. It's over 100% from where we're at right now. We did take the VWAP out. Volume was expanding here. MCore, what's going on with this one? I think this is the first time I've pulled this up here today.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's bring this up. Let's take a look and see if there's any news in there. I don't see anything fresh here. EMKR.
Yeah, I don't either. Less than 10 million shares in the float. Short interest is not really that important at all. They did a reverse split on April 2nd. I went for 10, and that's about all I see. But nothing driving it as far as news goes.
Yeah, this just kind of looks like one of those momentums. Volume looking pretty good here, though. Some day traders are after it. MBio seems to be another one that day traders are after here. That's MBIO. This actually about to reclaim its VWAP. That's a penny stock for you penny players out there. Looking around here at anything else on my scanner that maybe we haven't pulled up here. XPOF, this is Exponential Fitness. This moving higher here. I almost wonder if that was earnings. Let me check for you real quick.
Man. The SPY volume today is probably the lowest I've seen it at this point. And when we've been trading 5 million shares in the regular session, we're almost an hour into this.
Yep. And remember that opening print normally has a lot of volume centered around it. XPOF here, this going towards the highs. Here's your news here. Exponential Fitness announces appointment of Mark King as the CEO. That's going to be effective today. Yeah, effective June 17th, which is today. So it looks like we're getting news there on a new CEO. Stock's up 22.8% here. I don't see anything else going on with this one, but that's what's going on here. XPOF.
A little bit of a squeeze, too. It's a 16.5%, just under 5 days to cover. So a little bit of squeezing happening here, this one, I would say.
Bingo. Maybe maybe poor management or poor leadership was the short thesis there, and with that being replaced, that kind of changes the calculus. So maybe. All right, looks like we're getting Henry Cavill messages here. Yep, Cavill through that VWAP, looking like this is going to continue. Next spot here is going to be where it was rejected before, right where we're at here. I've got this at 445 is your intraday high. I do see a little bit of size there at 450. Cavill looking like this is coming up off the bottom. Let's see if we get a move here.
It would be nice to see it go Superman, wouldn't it?
Well done, 13. JMIA, this is one that Jay really likes. This actually doing a decent job holding its recent lows here. Take a look at this 15-minute chart. Did a really good job holding that $9 level. Looks like we're coming off that 10, might be next on the way up. Lakshmi asking about Apple, AAPL. Let's see what Apple's doing here today. Moving higher here. Okay. Apple looks like it's through 215 here. Looks like it is flagging on your daily as well.
Take a look at Apple. Wow.
Tesla actually looking like this might be trying to break the highs of the day as we speak here on Tesla, folks. 181.67, your intraday high print. We are bumping up against that right now.
You know, Apple been putting in some really volatile moves.
I mean, here we go on Tesla, by the way. I think that this probably breaks, doesn't it?
Like I don't think I've seen candles this big on Apple's daily chart. I think that's an indication of illiquidity.
Here, let me bring up the Apple chart. Tesla's kind of dancing here. So here, which chart were you taking a look at? I'm sorry, I was focused.
I was looking at the daily chart. The daily chart, I mean, you know, the last week we put in these two huge candles, and I don't think I've seen any candles like that big in this stock on their daily chart. And I'm just thinking, well, maybe we're getting a little too illiquid in this stock.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that since 2020, 13. To your point, those volume candles, those recent highs, those are tops since 2020. November is the largest reading that I have, the largest prior reading, I beg your pardon.
Gotcha.
And actually, you know, I'm curious to know what you think about this. You're one of my tech experts, technical analysis experts, that is. This formation here on the daily, dude, this looks bullish to me. This looks like Apple wants to at least test higher here. 220 seems like a round number. We're currently at what, just under 216. What do you make of this?
Well, it does kind of look a little bullish. I would have liked to see maybe another day of downside, but I think that the spot to watch for is 220 and 20 cents. That's the all-time high. If this formation is gonna resolve like typically do, then it will go up to those that previous all-time high and treat it as a breakout spot. So that's potentially what could happen given the volume. Now, if we don't have the volume to break through that, then it could double top. But I'm going to be watching. I think that's the spot we need to watch for what happens when we get back up to that all-time high.
Okay. Hey, how about this, Becca? Good morning from the North Pacific Ocean and an emoji of a cruise liner. So, Becca, I think that you are on vacation right now. Congrats. And by the way, still finding time on the vacation from the West Coast to join our morning stream, which is headquartered on the East Coast. In the business, we call that dedication. Really good stuff. I'm going to give you a one-up, Becca. Hopefully you're seeing some cool stuff out there on your vacation. Good to have you back.
So she's on a cruise ship? What cruise ship? We'll go and look and see what the stock's doing.
Interesting question. If you don't mind if we are in fact correct, and if you don't mind divulging, let's take a look at the stock and see if we can set something up. Tesla looking like it might break out. We were just looking at that Tesla chart there, Tony. And yep, look at this. It looks like it is trying to punch that here. Here we go. Let's see if we punch and move through here. Here, yep, new highs there on Tesla. 181.74, your new high.
Thinking about it, my thought on ARM is that it could absolutely explode if they win their lawsuit against Qualcomm. Also, ARM is going to be crucial to the chip manufacturing sector. A lot of these chips are ARM based. So I think because of how much licensing they do, I think they're going to be just fine, especially with this AI chip craze.
I would agree with that. Short term, I would be worried about 150. If that breaks, we might actually have a pullback here on ARM. Really quick, NITO being mentioned here by Smoke Tuna, ticker NITO. Another one, big volume pop. This one went from 80 cents to $1.06. This is halted, isn't it, Tuna? Let me check here. I think that you're on to one. Yep, NITO is halted. Meds, by the way, which we took a look at earlier, this has had several halts here. This open on a little bit of a knife here. Meds, TRNR above 8, or was briefly until I checked on it.
NITO, it's just above its 50-day SMA, which is 99 cents. I'd be looking at the 200-day SMA, which is at 191. Just about 85 cents to go. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that it could get up there, but we'll see. It's already risen quite a bit in the past couple of trading days.
All right. What else do we see going on out here? TSN, I notice this is trading up after the unfortunate piece of news regarding the CFO from last week. That might have marked a near-term buy opportunity, to be honest with you. Rigetti here looks like this is this is a bottomed out chart, maybe coming up off the bottom. SCNI, boy, your first stop is your best stop. Am I right? NCHL looks like Becca's given a ticker here. That's Norwegian, isn't it? Let's see if I got NHCL, Norwegian Cruise Lines.
NCLH.
NCLH, is that what? Okay, NCLH. Thank you, Nick. Nick, what would we do without you, dude? What would we do without you? Okay, so let's pull it up here. NCLH. Here is your chart. All right, so stocks. Becca, I think that what we've determined here is that we're going to need you to start dropping fat cash on the cruise to get this stock price to move back up here. We're a little bit lower. Maybe we have a boots on the ground catalyst in there.
She bought the internets.
If I could comment on this, we've seen a number of discounts regarding from the cruise lines and from the industry. So it seems that these travel industries are trying to get people back, but they aren't going. So, I mean, the stock is, at relatively levels. But I don't know how much more you can discount already at this time of year and given everything that's been going on. Discounts are out there. We've seen it from a number of industries, and it just seems that spending is kind of tight right now.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And I don't know necessarily all of the details of this particular trip, but that's good stuff there on the boats.
The 500-day SMA is very interesting on NCLH. It's been providing support all year. We're in a bit of a consolidation wedge right now, but I think if we see multiple closes underneath the 500-day SMA, this is going lower.
Okay, and look, we talk all the time about these SMAs and wanting to watch what the price does around them and closes above and this and that. This just kind of shows you when you test some of these levels, you'll often get some volatility before the stock makes a decision on where it's going to go. It looks like it's bounced twice off this level, 13. So to your point, let's see what happens on a third retest of it.
Yeah. If it doesn't hold up this time around, I think we could end up seeing downside all the way down to maybe underneath the 14 handle.
Hey, Jay says Carvana, Ryan. So looking at the daily chart here on Carvana, look at this though. Jay giving us a spot here. Carvana did come back into that 50. Actually looks like it's trying to bounce off of this as we speak. So looks like this tested exactly 100. If we go back to the day there, the 50-day average is 1 point beneath it, 1.6 cents beneath it. So it looks like maybe it's kind of tested that. Maybe we bounce back up here towards 120. By the way, Carvana is still 25% of its float shorted, just thereabouts, 7.75 days to cover. This has been a huge move off the bottom here on Carvana. We've had a number of different islands here. Man, oh man.
Oh, has it gone tropical?
Has it gone tropical?
With all the islands?
Oh, oh my goodness. It is a Monday. That took me way too long. I'm embarrassed at how long that. It might be. It keeps going higher. We'll see if it bounces off this 50 here. All right, let me go back to trade the pool real quick.
Market Sniper mentioning NBY above 298 could be interesting.
Yeah, that was the one that just popped here. Tuna was all over that. That halted there, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Nova Bay. Getting EMA crossing VWAP. So,
Ryan, can you throw up a chart of XPOF? This is Exponential Fitness. Stock is up near 20% on the news that they are appointing of Mark King as the chief executive officer.
Yeah, we just read that here. I'll be honest, I don't know the guy or the name, so I'm not sure why adding him accounts for 22 or 23% or whatever it is. But clearly that's what's driving it here.
Yeah. He was the CEO of Taco Bell. There we go.
Okay, well, there you go. That'll do it. Becca here. I lost my cash at the boat casino. Okay, there's your catalyst, folks. Becca's cash donated to the casino. Maybe that moves the stock higher here. I kid. Becca, I appreciate you playing around with that. Enjoy your vacation, though. I mean, my goodness. My goodness. All right, let's see. How about Peggy from earlier? Just kind of going to go over some of the trades from earlier. Okay, Peggy, maybe making a move back to its VWAP there. Nito is open. Let's check on Nito. Thank you, Rick. Nito popping higher here off that open, by the way.
So the CEO of Taco Bell, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get past this. The CEO of Taco Bell is going to be a CEO of a fitness apparel brand.
Look, sometimes you wake up and you just want to turn over a new leaf.
This guy jumped to a different forest.
It's just that. Hey, look. I mean, maybe it's another hurdle for this gentleman to conquer, right? I didn't even, when he said that, I didn't even put two and two together. Good Lord.
Jay's last. Oh man, you're really stabbing me in the heart with AVAV. This is the best trade that I came up with this year that I didn't take, and I'm not going to chase it. I was talking about this one when it was 150, and now it's 212.
Can confirm. 13 was all over this one. Called this one, quote, the best drone play out there, end quote. That was absolutely correct. FFIE waking up. Penny stock again. God, we talked about this when it was a penny stock, and then for several days when it was a multiple dollar stock. Now we're back here at penny stock. Be careful with FFIE. You have enough information now. Mirum Pharmaceuticals. This we talked about this one a little bit this morning. This actually continuing to move higher here.
Oh, cattle came back down to earth.
DKNG. Okay. DKNG. Great. So who was it? The Gunner SD. I appreciate you bringing this up. Let's talk about this here real quick. Let me bring up pros charts again. We want to take a look at a chart. Zoltan, let me know if you are out there. I don't know if I saw you here this morning. Shouts to him, though. Now, real quickly here, Zoltan told me last week that he closed his trade for a gain here. One of the things that he was playing here was the Euros and all of that. DraftKings here, nice move up almost 4% here today. You can see we are going for that gap fill close right here. I got that marked at what, 40? Here, let me zoom in and get you an accurate reading. I beg your pardon. Low of this candle, 41.65. Excuse me. The low of this candle, 40.55. So we did hit that here. The low of the body of this candle, 40.81. So we're only 30 cents away. We've got the 50-day and the 100-day right above it here. Zoltan was playing on the 200-day reclaim. We just talked about this. We just talked about these moving averages and how sometimes we want to see these stocks reclaim close above. We got that. We have the backdrop of the Euros and all of the sports betting stuff. DraftKings, this trade was a winner for Zoltan. The Gunner SD, I hope that this was a winner for you. If you're swinging this, I think that this is an ample spot to peel some, book some of those gains, and then maybe keep one on for a runner.
This movement is off of news that the U.S. Maybe we mentioned this already. The U.S. Supreme Court denied the petition to hear the Florida sports betting case. So basically, online gambling in Florida stands. So this is helping them because, hey, that market's still available to DraftKings. Now, I think that this is going to be temporary. this bullish movement. I'm really concerned about what DraftKings is going to do when it reaches the 50-day SMA.
Okay, so there you go. That trade, at least with that trade plan, has worked out. We'll see where we go from here. Let me bring Trade the Pool back up. TRNR below the VWAP here. I actually have this above the VWAP, at least in Trade the Pool. It actually looks like it's bounced off that VWAP. But I'll tell you what, just kind of, we talk about stocks feeling weak here. Smoke Tuna's been all over that. Smoke Tuna, I'd be curious to know what you think. To my eye here, this kind of looks like this might be weakening too. Maybe we can trade back up to the top end of the range. Maybe this MACD histogram starts to compress. Signal line's elevated though. To me, it looks like this kind of soaks up here. See if it sells off, but I think it's going to be tough to pop it above that recent level. By the way, someone mentioned HIMS earlier. I think that while I was on with Matt, I couldn't get to it. HIMS here, this actually did trade higher. This has been a great trade on the back of those GLPs. Great swing trade here if you end up having it. I did also notice some calls coming in here. They're small, but there's definitely some call activity going on, upside activity here on HIMS.
Lots of spreadiness in everything that we're trading today.
Yeah, and I think that I think that we talked about the SPY being extremely low volume.
Yeah,
I think that might be contributing to it. Palantir, by the way, looks like this is going back for the highs.
Yeah, TRNR is still trying to hold above VWAP, but it looks like it's losing it. EXK actually trying to turn around and looks like it's trying to reclaim VWAP.
ESK, did you say?
EXK. It's one of the ones we were talking about earlier.
EXK, here you go.
Yeah,
BRT.
This one's coming up to V. Sorry, this one's coming up to VWAP. Volume's really low, so it could get rejected at VWAP. But I just noticed this. There's also a large sell order, or series of sell orders at 377.
Yep. BRTX getting mentioned here by Smoke Tuna. This pulling back to the VWAP. VRNA grinding higher here. STNI curl. Tony's asking, maybe.
Crow mentioning Lab
D.
Mm-hmm. Biotech 2x short.
That's I feel like we've seen a number of bios trading up here. Regardless, Lab D higher here. Looks like Crow's on the shortened train here. NVIDIA 2x short. So you're looking like that ETF levered down. Also, obviously, the biotech negative here. Or the biotech Lab D being the...
Biotech's been really good. So,
yeah, it has. It's been good all year.
Cool off. It should cool off. Oh, wow. Palantir just pushing.
That's what I'm saying. Palantir's strength impressive today. TRNR could go higher. So Smoke Tuna, you are disagreeing with me here. You don't think this is necessarily weak. Maybe we do get this MACD histogram to kind of cross over here. You guys like this? What are you seeing here? What are your spots? What's your plan here? TRNR. Still 60 cents away from the VWAP after this huge move. I'd like a setup down there.
Ryan, if you can throw up a chart of ADSK again, we are getting reports that Autodesks has issued the following statement in response to a letter from Starboard Value. This is according to PR Newswire. In part, they say that consistent with market practice, Autodesk's bylaws include a customary period in advance of each year's annual meeting, during which all shareholders have the opportunity to submit proposals and make director nominations. That period closed on March 23rd of this year, and Autodesk did not receive any proposals or direct nominations. Starboard is seeking to leverage a now completed internal investigation that resulted in no financial restatement as a pretext for reopening the advance notice period. Autodesk's board considered the request from Starboard and determined that reopening the advance notice period would not be in the best interests of Autodesk or its shareholders. Autodesk is confident in this decision and the process followed by the board and is looking forward to holding the annual meeting as scheduled on July 16th, 2024. That's according to the new release just minutes ago.
And if you want copies of that release right here in Benzinga Pro, that is the exact release that News just read for you. Okay, Autodesk still holding higher here, 4.6% higher, relatively flat on that news, Nick. Really just kind of flagging here. All right, let's go back to Trade the Pool. We are watching TRNR here, this rolling back over to the VWAP. So what do we think here, folks? If we do test this VWAP down here, I've got it at about 706. You think we bounce here? What do you think?
Sorry, I was just checking something out
All
that
good.
I noticed was up quite a bit. ANN, not even worth bringing up. I'll just mention to you why I'm seeing it.
Okay.
This is a buyout. Aaron's Holdings shares are trading higher after the company announced that it entered a definitive agreement to be acquired by IQ Ventures Holdings. It looks like that's going to be for $10 a share. That's what it popped up to this morning. That's where it's been at ever since. So
Gotcha.
anybody's curious about why that's moving, that's the reason why.
So TRNR here, we've got Tuna saying it could go higher. We've got Lion saying it's going to go lower. Round one fight.
This is what makes a market, folks.
This is exact. And when I say round one fight, obviously, I'm joking around.
Shake hands first, then fight.
Yeah, as 13 is saying, that is exactly what makes a market. Apple holding at 216. God, that thing is a beast.
Looks like SCNI is trying to get going again. It's getting a bit of a curl here and trying to make its way back up to VWAP. Now, VWAP's at 635, so it could get rejected there. There's a lot of sideways consolidation from the pre-market up in that area. But, you know, that if it doesn't, then this is going to be the level to watch for. See what happens at VWAP. CVNA finally with a red candle after about 40 minutes or so of just green candles.
Just grind it up. MBio, that penny stock that we talked about earlier, that through the VWAP here now. MBio for you penny players. SCLX, wow, this thing really going on the daily chart. We got a potential gap fill up to 225 SCLX. SPY, by the way, we talked about that looking weaker here. SPY actually bouncing. We are flat here, down 8 cents on the SPY.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the most bullish activity we've had was out the gate, and it hasn't. Well, actually, not really out the gate. I'm looking at it earlier than that. No, we haven't really had that much bullish activity at all. Just a recovery from when it got down to 541.50.
So here's Tesla. Look at this. Comp, nice call here. Tesla, this did break out here. We took a look at this earlier. We were watching this level right in here. Not only did we break it, but we actually back tested it. Giddy up. This would have been the day. This to me right here. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. This to me right here is the trade of the day on Tesla. I can see that we went up since the open, but when we kind of traded right up to this area and then we broke through it and back tested right here, I should have had this one on my screen. This was the long spot right here, 181.50, let's call it. Stock's at 184, going for 185. Easy Mike, man, oh man. Were you in this one? You guys hit this one here this morning? Monster break right there. That was a great setup. Actually, this is, in my opinion, best setup here came on one of these bigger stocks here today. Yep. Great job. Easy Mike. You're going to get both. You're going to get both. I don't know what to tell you.
You're going to get both. Sorry, dude.
Yep. Sorry. You're just seeing all the good trades here today.
What was the breakout price? Because 180 has been a big level. And we just, it looks like we moved off of, okay, so that's interesting. If you draw a line at 180 and you look at the price action this morning, when we opened, we went right up to that, and that's where the fighting was until we started, trickling up, like kind of just putting in a lot of really, really interesting looking dojis. on the way up to this next breakout level that we just took at 182. 180. That's the big number to watch for. When we come back, when it comes back down there, that's going to be the spot. 180. Let's look at the daily chart. It's been the spot. Look at the price action. Since March. Every time it tries to get up above 180, it's either rejected or and it doesn't break out, or it breaks out and comes right back in. Every time.
Here is that 180 spot. I just had it there a second ago, right in here. This has definitely been a key area here.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to trade the pool here. Good stuff on a Monday. I love how you folks showed up here all fired up and ready to go. It's exactly what we wanted to see out of our community. Smash up the like. It helps us. It's free. We can keep bringing on awesome guests, keep bringing you all of this news here. Absolutely love our Twitch, our YouTube, and our Twitter viewers. Really appreciate you all. All right. My scanner just has some of the same names on it. I want to say it's drying up, but it still has some names on there, all the usual suspects. Here's MBio, TRNR. This is still flirting with its VWAP, by the way. We'll see where that ends up going. SCNI, we were talking about that, potentially curling. Bang, big pullback, new lows here. Again, folks, sometimes your first stop is your best stop. TGNX.
Did you see that?
NGX, excuse me.
Did you see that Mike had mentioned that Berkshire Hathaway dumped more BYD? I'm curious, Mike, how much more do they have left? Because they have been slashing that position.
Yeah, they sure have.
And for good reason, too.
So we have an article on .com this morning that talks about this. And let me quickly pull it up because I think it is interesting to note. But first, on the X side that we posted, they first invested in BYD in 2008, paying $232 million back then to pocket 225 million BYD shares. The company is now among the top global manufacturer of new energy vehicles. Regarding that position, let me get this up here because I think it is interesting. Where is it? I just had it this morning. I'll find it and I'll come back to it.
Okay.
TRNR looking much weaker now. Looks like we're getting market weakness after it had some peakness. And, as we were saying at the beginning of the show, we do have the federal holiday on Wednesday, and we do typically see weakness in the market ahead of the holiday and then strength afterwards.
So, according to our article, Berkshire sold 1.3 million Hong Kong listed shares of BYD with the sell facing around 39 million. That was done June 11th. Berkshire has been offloading shares in small quantities over the years, and the most recent divestment has left it with a stake of 6.9%, down from 7.98% in late October of 23.
This is BYD, right? Ticker BYD?
Yeah. No. That's a different company. Boyd Gaming is not BYD.
What's the ticker for this?
BYDDY.
Yeah.
BYDDF.
BYDD what? Oh, yeah, this is going to be one of the... No. I don't think I can pull that up and trade the pool. I know what you... Okay, sorry about that. Can't pull that one up, folks. We'll just watch TRNR. And by the way, this weakness here, this actually flirting like it's going to break the VWAP to the downside. Fairchild saying, guessing no stream on Wednesday. Correct. We will not be here on Wednesday. I'm going to be golfing. And I suggest that you folks do the same or do something that you enjoy on Wednesday. BYDDY. Thank you. Yeah, I still don't have it here, though. Yeah, we're not going to have that one and trade the pool. Okay.
Just looking around here, seeing that EMKR is trying to curl back up after 25 or so minutes of weakness. Coming back up to the VWAP. Cavill trying to hold VWAP. SCNI looks like that's going lower.
Yeah.
TRNR, that looks like it's going lower. MBio's running. That might be the one to play at the moment. That's really good, Jay Summers. What are we thinking about now?
Look at DraftKings continuing to go right to that 50-day. Look at this move here.
So
13, you're going to get your test. You're going to get your test. I know you talked about that one earlier.
Yeah, let's make sure we have that number correct. I have the 50-day SMA at 41.36.
Mine's covered up here on these charts. Let me get to a different chart here. I'm sure I've got the same one. 41.36, same as you. Big green staircase here, DKNG. Becca also mentioning Polestar. This is PSNY. This penny stock here, this one moving off that 70-cent level up here at 82 cents. And Tesla, dude. Lynn and Randy, I know you folks are having a good day, huh? I know you folks are having a good day. Let me take a look. What is the... I'm seeing... Oh, but those are puts on Tesla. Puts on Tesla. There's some calls on Tesla. It looks like we're getting a lot of option activity, but I'm getting bets on both sides there.
Tony mentioning AISP, Airship.
We've talked about this one before. This is actually a fairly decent move. Low volume, but a fairly decent move here so far on Airship.
EMKR getting up to VWAP now.
Bitcoin bounced off its lows here from this morning. Relatively muted bounce, but didn't break down further. So you love to see that.
Wow. Right down to that 65K level. That's Bitcoin. Well, what do you think, guys? Besides how slow this is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of looking around here. Oh my God, look at MBio. The penny players win again. Penny players win again.
Get that money, penny players. Get 100 pennies, you got $1.
I love when you make jokes, 13. They're my favorites.
Even if they're bad.
No, man, the dad jokes are sometimes my favorite. I've here on the scanner, but I don't really see anything going on. My scanner, 1, 2, 3. The top 6 names on my scanner, all penny stocks.
Yep. Nothing looks really that good right now.
Nope.
I mean, to get into. I mean, there's things that are running that we just need to wait for setups to get into, and there's things that are just absolutely bombing that don't look good enough to touch. So what are you doing the rest of the day?
Well, obviously work-related stuff. I do kind of want to go through a couple of things. Do we have any? What are the big earnings on deck for this week? Always want to take a look at the week ahead. Shame on over the Father's Day weekend here. I did no preparation for this week. Not the norm for me, but
we have Lennar tonight. We have KB Home tomorrow after the close. We have Kroger, Darden, all Thursday, CarMax Friday. Other than that, it's really not a big earnings week.
No, you're absolutely right. We've got Accenture on the 20th. Kroger, I think you mentioned that. CarMax, FactSet, that ACN, that Accenture. That one I'm kind of interested in. I've taken that one off my screen. Let me bring up my bigger chart here. We talked about Anne Marie with Accenture here. Oh my God, look at this. Wow. So we were taking a look at Accenture. Oh my gosh, we might have to keep revisiting this name. We took a look at Accenture when this fell to the 200-day. Now we did get a bounce here. This was back in March. We did get a bounce here, but it was very, very short-lived. And then we got some consolidation on the 200-day. This lasted through the beginning of April. We broke away from that, and we consolidated for what? From the end of April till the end of May, right around the 500-day, and lost it. This thing is weak. What's the next spot down here? I got to think 264, maybe another 20 points lower from here, 242, 243, maybe another 20 to 40 points lower from here gives the next support level. 13, I'd be curious to know what you see here in the Accenture chart. We might have to ask Anne Marie about this Tuesday or Friday this week, because this one, we'll see. We'll try and prepare for this one. I'm curious to know what you think here.
This one I was on about the 200-day SMA providing support to where the price will reverse. It did initially get that, but it didn't hold up. So this is a breakdown of that pattern where the 200-day SMA provides support and resistance. We talked about this in happy hour. This going back to 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. I think at this point I would be looking at a 243, to be honest.
Okay, so we're looking at those lows that are another 40 points away from where we're at. 13. I suspect this will not be the last time we take a look at ticker ACN this year. I think we might have another look at this. Smoke Tuna saying, sorry,
October 13th, March 16th. That was a double bottom low. That's kind of what I'm drawing on right now for the downside target. I think we'll end up hitting that area.
Also, Smoke Tuna here saying ACN next weekly support right in here at 257. You can see exactly where those kind of line up here. And by the way, we're beneath that 200-week support line there. So ACN, okay, interesting. We haven't looked at that one in a while. We will continue to check back on that. Let's get back to some of these smaller, more actionable names and see if there is, in fact, any action here. Appreciate all of you for hanging out with us on a summer Monday. Nito, maybe this is popping back to the VWAP. We'll see.
Needs more volume. EXK through VWAP, just as I looked at it right now.
Yep, indeed. That candle taking you right through.
Still very low volume. I think this could end up getting to 377 where there's that wall of sell orders. Don't think it's going to get through with this volume, though. That's a lot of orders to chew through at this volume.
Lion Atlas says depressing market. Hey, look, you got to play what the market gives you. 13 has been kind of talking about what he asked earlier. What else are you guys doing today? If the market's not giving you a setup or anything that's tradable, find something else to do. Research, prepare, exercise,
other plans.
Other plans. The wife's honey-do list. If it's too long, you can always copy and paste it, throw it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to summarize it for you. Just giving out pro tips here. That's all.
Of this honey-do list, what things can I actually get done at the same time? Help me, ChatGPT.
Summarize this list for me and prioritize it. Here you go. Lynn and Randy making a joke about Lululemon. Let's see what Lululemon's doing. This is actually a little bit higher here. It's doing a pretty decent job holding that 300 level. Be curious to see if this goes above that 50-day at 334. Wiss saying, go get a haircut. Wiss, I am in need of one. I am in need of one. Pretty soon, my man. Tell you what, haircuts in the summer, best thing ever. You go outside, and it's like, wow, I feel so much cooler. I didn't realize that Chat GPT talks now. It freaked me out.
That's why I was laughing.
Yeah, I can see where that would be a bit of a surprise there. Go from Lulu to Lucy. This is one we were looking at earlier here. Lucy penny stock. This is popping here. Cavill could be consolidating for a move higher. Okay. We would love to see some volume flow into this name for that move higher, to be honest.
Really is getting support from that 390 area.
TRNR lost its VWAP and couldn't get it back. Wiss, I got a question for you. Have you ever left something magnetic stuck to the golf cart? You know what? This should have been my opener, 13. Yeah. This should have been my opener for today. It's playing yesterday on Father's Day. I'm out there. We got the golf playlist going. We're jamming. We're having a great time. I'm packing up all my stuff, and I throw my bag in the car. I return the cart. I get home and have dinner. I'm doing the whole thing, and I'm getting ready to go to sleep. And I'm like, did I leave my speaker turned on? Is the battery draining in my golf bag? Go over to my golf bag. It's not in there. And I'm like, oh no. So I woke up this morning at 5:45 in the morning and I called the golf course, and sure enough, they have it on hold for me. Left it magneted to the golf course like a dummy, or to the golf cart like a dummy. Wiss, let me know if you've actually done that before.
When they sent you a picture that confirming that they had it, were they dancing next to it?
They didn't do that. The guy let me off easy. Were they dancing next to it? I'm not even sure there were multiple people there at 5:45 in the morning, but
hey, thanks, Sully. Sorry for the slow day in the market. Hopefully we're entertaining enough to keep it going.
But I want to shout this one out. Sully here, I appreciate you also thanking Gil. As I mention every day, I know some of you guys that join us every day, you hear the same message every day. I'm serious, though. The Trade the Pool guys, like, they are there to help. They are available. I know a number of people from our community that have reached out, gotten in contact. I know, Sully, you were saying you did not. Whoa. 13, I think the noise canceling setting probably not turned back on those headphones. Lost my train of thought there. No, it's fine. I know you had said you weren't able to get a hold of them. Turns out it was just in spam. They're really, really good about that. They're really, really good about responding and answering. So I'm glad you're able to get the help. Okay, folks, in about 3 minutes, we are going to send you over to the Trader Bacon Show. I know it kind of dried up here. Hopefully, got something going on there. I really appreciate all of you folks hanging out with us on a Monday. Remember, we talked about it a lot this week, but just to be clear, we will be back tomorrow. We will not be here on Wednesday, and we will be back Thursday and Friday. So please plan accordingly and make sure that you do something to enjoy. Make sure you do something that you enjoy on Wednesday. Apple new high. What
is the Mag 7 looking like today? Apple and Tesla, only two that are looking good. Everything else is red. Rotation. I was going to say rotation.
So 13, stop the presses because NVIDIA is red today. I just finished when we finished with Matt Maley, I made a joke about NVIDIA going up every day. Apparently I gave it the death blow. Here we are red on NVIDIA. We'll see where we close.
Well, it does seem to correct. So keep talking.
Fairchild. So Fairchild, I'm going to just address this real quick, 13. We're going to miss our Tim Melvin Day. You are correct. This week you are going to miss your Tim Melvin Day. But just to kind of give you a little bit, well, I guess they call it a tease in this industry. You are not going to miss much of Tim Melvin. In fact, I've got some plans here to proliferate some of Tim's credentials for looking for stocks. So believe me, I apologize for you getting shortchanged this week, but I promise I will make it up to you in the future. Hit the like button from Jay's Life. Absolutely. That's how you can support us for free. We don't ask for much. We do ask for likes. Appreciate it. Crow, already preparing for Wednesday. Cold beer awaits on Wednesday. Crow, I got a picture of you with a top hat on, leaning back in a chair, feet up on the desk, ice cold mug full of beer, just enjoying yourself. That's how I picture you, by the way. All right, you guys, any closing thoughts before we send this over to Trader Bacon?
Well, just, if you find a setup, try to take it. Just be careful. This market's not looking great. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think consumer discretionary might be up a little bit higher today than other sectors. So there might be some better opportunities in there. But if not, maybe take the day off, folks. This is not a very, very interesting market today.
Indeed. 13, take care. We'll see you tomorrow, man. Nick, any closing words for the group?
What a week it's been so far. It's only Monday, but it's going to be a quiet week given we have a holiday. So shortened trading week means less volumes. It's going to be quiet. So enjoy summer, get out, and just kind of maybe forget trading this week.
No, I think you're probably right there. Manage your capital, touch some grass. Guys, have a great. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. We're going to send you over to Trader Bacon right now. Thanks for joining us.